It's Friday, January 5th at Portland International Airport. Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 takes off at 5:07 p.m. local time. The aircraft, a Boeing 737 MAX 9, is bound for Ontario, California with 171 passengers and 6 crew members on board. It's now just a few minutes after takeoff, and the flight is climbing through at 16,000 feet above sea level when a section near the rear of the aircraft rips off. The pilot makes a call to the Seattle control tower.
Passengers in the United States have survived a terrifying mid-air emergency. Incredibly, an Alaska Airlines...
Well, a nightmare mid-flight for dozens of passengers and crew members when a panel blows out, leaving a gaping hole in the aircraft.
A nightmare on board Alaska Airlines Flight 1282.
Yeah, well, let's go down. It's on Alaska. 1282, declared emergency. We're descending down to 10,000. 50 seconds.
I didn't even know we took off, honestly. And then, yeah, I'm sleeping and I just feel the plane drop. And it wasn't like any other turbulence just because the masks had came down too. So that's when I knew, like, oh gosh, this is something way different. And yeah, I started freaking out.
And all of a sudden there was a really loud pop or a loud bang and like a whoosh of air, and the oxygen masks came down at the same exact time. And all of that was like in the span of 1 second.
What she didn't know was that a part of the aircraft called the door plug had blown off, and there was now a door-size hole on the side of the plane. The door plug is not an actual door. It covers a section in the body of the plane where an optional emergency exit could also fit. According to the NTSB, the flight did not require an additional emergency exit because it wasn't configured to take in more than 200 passengers. The aircraft itself is a relatively new 737 MAX 9 delivered to Alaska Airlines on October 31st. According to the NTSB, the door plug was located on row 26, and the NTSB later confirmed no one was seated in the 2 seats closest to the door. Portland Control Tower clears Alaska Airlines 1282 for emergency landing. It's now 5:26 p.m. local time. Just 20 minutes after the plane is taken off from Portland Airport, it touches down again. Passenger captures this footage of the emergency landing.
This wasn't even in the emergency door. We're at the end of the plane, so the emergency door's right there. It was just a piece of the plane. Okay, so there was no one seated there. There was thankfully no one seated near the window. Yeah, they just said.
5:34 p.m. local time. The plane is now at a game. Firefighters are seen on board. The flight, according to Alaska Airlines, several passengers on board experienced injuries that required medical attention. But all passengers are now medically cleared. 11:42 p.m. Alaska Airlines CEO says in a statement that they will be temporarily grounding its fleet 737 MAX until all 65 of them are inspected over the next few days. Saturday, January 6th. The FIA announces that it will order the temporary grounding of certain 737 MAX 9 aircrafts. And Alaska Airlines says that they've canceled 160 flights, impacting about 23,000 passengers. An NTSB team touches down in Portland to carry out an investigation. In a press conference, NTSB Chair Jennifer Heddy says this.
We could have ended up with something so much more tragic. Fortunately, they were not at cruise altitude of 30,000 or 35,000 feet.
She also says the FBI is working with local authorities to find the door and its components that fell off. She asks the public for help.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug.
A Portland school teacher finds the door plug in his backyard. The NTSB says it's recovered the door plug and it's sending it to the material lab for further examination. Alaska Airlines says an initial inspection of its 737 MAX 9 fleet revealed some loose hardware on some aircraft. The chair of the NTSB tells GMA that the top fitting of the door plug was fractured.
We don't know if the bolts were loose. We don't know if bolts were in there fractured, or possibly the bolts weren't there at all.
The NTSB is continuing its investigation into what went wrong.